Is anybody here? Oh, did you catch me setting up my FabFit Friday? Today's been an interesting kind of day because we got a snowstorm after it being like really warm on Wednesday. It was 65 degrees, and now we have snow, sleet, and ice. It's wonderful. Hi, Diane. Welcome. This is going to be a short FabFit Friday because I have a lot of other things to do today, including running to the printer for my second printing of my Frenchie jeans and some other patterns I need to ship out today. Everybody who's ordered the Frenchie jeans before right now, they're in the mail, and I got a bunch more orders, so I really appreciate everybody who's showing enthusiasm for this pattern. I'm really excited about it. So I have to go over there and get them before my printer leaves for the day because he just came in to do a little bit of stuff. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to hem the Frenchie jeans. And here's the thing, you can do this technique on any jeans. So if you don't, if the Frenchie jeans aren't for you, that's fine, and I'm very happy for you to use this technique on any existing pattern you have. Also on khaki pants, this could be cute. So let me just show you. I posted a picture in the group, but let me just show you and talk about it for a second. Okay, so let me switch my view here. Hi, Janie. Hi, Mary. I think I said hi, Diane. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to switch my view. Let me just get this. I'm going to blow the camera out here for a second so I can make it really brighter so you can see what's happening. Okay, so I thought it would be fun to do the technique that was on the jeans that inspired me to draft this pattern. They used a twill tape and they sewed it to the wrong side. Then I understitched, flipped it to the right side, pressed it, and then top stitched it in place. And instead of top stitching it here at the top of the twill tape or ribbon or Petersham ribbon, whatever you want to use, I top stitched at the bottom. So you can see if I zoom in here, let me make this really sharp so you can see, maybe just a skosh lighter. So see how cool that is? It makes just a nifty little hem technique, and you can really customize this. So like, let's say your denim was significantly different on the inside, which it typically is a lot lighter than the right side of your fabric. If you don't want that to show, you could actually fold it right at the bottom edge of your twill tape or ribbon. Or if you want it to show more and make a bigger cuff, you can actually, have more of this showing by folding it up higher. I trimmed off about 1/2 inch before I sewed the ribbon on because I didn't want a lot of this lighter color to show. So this is how the hem looks. And remember that these jeans have front and back darts that go right into the hem. So this is actually the front of the leg, this is the back of the leg, and then also here's the inseam. So there's 3 seams that come into the hem. And so the first thing I noticed was when you're sewing a seam and you're sewing darts, let me just turn it the edge of it inside out so you can see. So see, there's a dart right here, there's my inseam, and there's another dart. Okay, so all 3 of those things go all the way to the hem. What I noticed was my leg, the circumference of my hems were a little bit different. So I actually measured, to cut the ribbon, you're going to need to measure, your hem edge so you can make the ribbon be the right size. I ended up making 2 slightly different because, like I said, this hem was a little bit wider than the other hem, and I really didn't want to fuss around with it and take it in a little bit more to make them match. So I just made my ribbon 2 different lengths so they'll fit, you know, because when they're on my body I can't see that. So that's one thing to look out for when you're working with this pattern, because there's 2 darts and an inseam that goes straight through to the hem. Even if you're off, like if you're off a 1/16 of an inch on all 3 of those things, that's almost a 1/4 of an inch. So just, you know, if you're going to finish it with the ribbon or twill tape or Petersham ribbon, you really want to have that be the right size so it lays nice and flat against your leg, you know, once it's on there. Hi Andrea, good morning. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is let me show you how to do this. Here is my other leg. You can see I've trimmed it even, and I trimmed it a little bit shorter because again I don't want a lot of this side of my fabric to be showing. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to lay my this is Petersham ribbon. I'm just going to lay it smoothly on my leg, and with it doing that, I'm going to just mark I'm going to mark the position of the seam I want to sew to make my ribbon into a circle. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and draw myself a line to sew that into a circle. Hi Justine, welcome. We're doing a quick FabFit Friday today if you came late, because I have a lot of things to do today. I'm leaving Wednesday for California to teach at Stitches West, so there will be no FabFit Friday next week, and there will be no FabFit Friday the week after that because I'm driving to Albany to teach a 2-day workshop. So there's going to be 2 weekends off from FabFit Friday, but I'll try to post other things to show you what I'm doing while I'm not here. Okay, so I'm just going to pin this together with my Wonder Clip here. Red is the right side or the top side of the clip. Okay, and we're going to sew this now. And if I bring back the other one, I did this fun little thing when I sewed the ribbon together. You can see I kind of made a little triangle shape when I sewed down the ribbon, so I'm going to show you how I did that. But really that's just a little, you know, sort of a little detail. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get my sewing machine. Oh, Andrea, I would love to see you in Sacramento. You know, even if you're not taking a class, come and see me. Okay. Let's see. Let me get this a little less bright here. Let me turn it on. Okay. Plug it in. Okay. So what we're going to do now is, I think I'm going to switch my top stitching thread, and I'm going to put the gray in so you can see that little triangle detail I'm doing. And then I'm going to switch to black thread when I understitch because I do not want that to show. So I'm going to switch my thread a couple times here. But basically, it'll be quick. I have a top stitch needle in my machine, so the eye of the needle is really large, so I can really see what I'm doing here. Okay, so, alright, so the first thing we're going to do is I am just going to sew this, make sure we're really sharp. I think that's sharp. Okay, so I'm going to take this clip off now, and I'm just going to sew these 2 pieces of ribbon together into a circle, like this. And I'm going to back tack on each end. Okay, then what I'm going to do, in this case, I'm going to trim my end. Hi Gertrude, welcome. I'm doing a hem technique using ribbon to finish the edge of a jean hem on my Frenchie jeans. That's what I'm working on today. I'm going to cut this so it's about an even 1/2 inch or so, like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up like this. And I'm going to start along this end here, and I'm going to just stitch right across. Then when I get to the actual end, I'm going to come down. And actually, I'm not going to come down. I'm going to go to a V at my center seam. And then I'm going to go back down to a V on this other side. And I'm going to back tack there. Then, just for safety, I'm just going to sew across the top edge of the seam allowances of the ribbon. Now, you certainly do not have to do this fancy like this, but I just thought that was kind of a fun way to hold the ribbon in place. Okay, so that's the first step. Then I'm going to get my leg over here. Let me just make it a little bit bigger so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to take this ribbon and I'm going to find my inseam, which is, this is my inseam right here. So let me just lay this flat so you can see what I'm doing. This is my inseam. And I just want to make sure that that's really crisp. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ribbon, and if you look at the first one I did, I sewed the base of the triangle to the jeans. So I'm going to do that again here. I'm going to put right sides together. I'm going to put the base of the triangle here against the wrong side of the denim. So this is the right side of the ribbon facing the wrong side of the denim. And I'm going to line up that point with the seam in the, with the inseam. And again, this is just a fussy little thing I'm doing. It doesn't have to be, you know, I don't think it does anything major for the overall design of the jeans. I was just playing with it and I thought it was kind of cool. Then I'm gonna get my Wonder clips here and I'm just gonna clip it together there. Then I'm just gonna go around and clip it. Now, because we measured it 1-to-1, it should clip in there pretty easily in terms of fitting, because it's the same length as the hem. And by now, all of your darts or your seam allowances at this point should be pressed in the direction they're supposed to be. So I'm just pinning the ribbon over all of that, lining up all the edges here. This denim has a little bit of stretch to it, so when I go to sew the ribbon on, I'm going to sew it on using, I'm putting the denim against the feed dogs, and that will help the denim from stretching out, because the ribbon does not stretch. Okay, so I've got that fitted in there pretty nicely. Next thing I'm going to do is come back over here to my sewing machine. And I'm going to just stitch this. Now, if you're using, you know, a wider ribbon, you can get twill tape and ribbon in a bunch of different widths. This is a 1-inch. So I'm going to just sew using a 1/8 inch seam allowance here. You can do, you know, 3/8, you can do a 1/2 inch, depending on how much of the ribbon you want to show. Plus, if you figured in the finished length of your jeans, make sure you consider the fact that you're losing whatever seam allowance you're sewing this to, you know, is being taken off the length of the jeans as well. So I'm just doing 1/8 of an inch, and basically I'm just going to sew around. Now as I come to my Wonder clips, I'm going to take them out. When you're working with an 1/8 inch seam allowance, you really have to pay attention that the two edges are even, because it's really easy to you know, miss one of the layers if they're not, if the raw edges or the edge is not even with the ribbon. All right, and I just started somewhere along the hem. I'm not really worrying because the start and stop for this part is going to be invisible. Okay, so I just overlap my start point. I'm going to cut that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to understitch. Now here's the thing, the understitching is going to show because we're going to be flipping this to the right side. So I don't want this gray thread to show because I'm going to be stitching right in that same location using my top stitching thread once I get it flipped to the right side. So this black thread is just going to blend into my Petersham ribbon. So let me go ahead and switch my thread to black. I love working with a top stitch needle because I can really thread my needle super fast. My needle threader is broken on here, so. All right, so as I understitch, again, I don't care where I'm starting because this is going to be invisible in the finished hem. But basically, I am sewing really close, like a 1/16 of an inch along the seam, and I'm pulling the ribbon away from the bottom of the jean. I'm just going to work slowly here. Now, if you're working with a cotton twill tape or a rayon Petersham ribbon, this is a rayon Petersham ribbon, you want to pre-shrink it before you sew it onto the bottom of your jeans so it doesn't shrink when you throw it in the dryer and pucker up your hem. I think you can get away with giving the ribbon or the cotton twill tape a good steaming with your iron. Okay. All right, I'm coming to my start point. I'm just going to overlap that and cut it. Excellent. Okay, so this technique, the other thing this technique does for us is we're not going to have to worry about the hem flipping around either because you know, we've got the ribbon sewn on, and now what we're going to do is we're going to press it up to the right side like this. So you see, you could press it up wider and make a real cuff out of it. You know, if you like cuff jeans, you can do it like that. Or, you know, if you want it to be a little bit narrower like I'm doing, you could do, you know, a narrow. So I'm going to do about a 3/8 of an inch showing there. And I'm going to be working with my sleeve board so I can just iron a little bit at a time. And before I go to the iron, let's put this up here. Before I go to the iron, I'm going to just clip it in 4 places where the heavy seams are, and then 1 extra place. So I am rotating this down to 3/8 of an inch. And whenever you're trying to match something right to left, it might be a good idea to bring back the other hem so we could see what we're doing here. But basically, I'm eyeballing about 3/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to put a clip here. And then I'm going to put a clip here. And then let's put a clip here. And finally, we'll put one right here. Now I want to create a really crisp fold, because this folded edge now is going to be the bottom of my jeans. So what I'm going to do here is, instead of relying on the steam from the iron, which I'm using my Oliso iron. I love my Oliso iron. It has great steam. But for this, I want it to almost be a little bit wet. So I'm just going to spray the hem with this water bottle. Okay, just plain water bottle, just to get it nice and damp. Okay, and then I'm going to bring my sleeve board in. And let's stick this on the sleeve board. Move the jeans over here. I'm going to put the jeans in my lap now. Okay, so then I'm just going to press, you know, my hem. And because I've got that nice damp situation going on, I'm going to press between my wonder clips. You can see it gives me a nice flat, make sure that's even, a nice flat edge, or a nice crisp flat. You can also use your clapper here if you want to. But when I did my first leg, I noticed that it really stayed nice. Okay. All right, so now that I've got a nice crisp edge, I'm just going to put those clips I took out back in. And I'm going to go back to my sewing machine. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch my thread to my red top stitching thread. And one little friendly reminder, if you're switching between threads, make sure you adjust your stitch length too. So like when I'm sewing, I'm using like 3 for a stitch length. When I go to top stitch, I want it to be longer, so I'm gonna move my stitch length to like 3.5, just so I have a little bit of a longer stitch. Okay. All right. Okay. My thread untwisted. Okay, so now I'm going to stop and start at my inseam, because that is the least noticeable place to stop and start. And I have to turn my pant leg inside out because I want to sew inside the circle. Okay, so here we go. So here's my inseam right here. So that's where I'm going to start. And also that's where my little triangle is. Move this a little bit closer here. Okay. All right, so I am going to stitch probably a 1/16 of an inch away from the base of my ribbon. And what I want to show you here is that's going to also hold down that seam allowance, that teeny little seam allowance I have there. So basically now I'm just going to stitch. And you can see that the understitching that I did before really is not showing. Hi Meryl, welcome from North Carolina. Hi Carol, welcome. I'm finishing up a hem technique that I'm doing on my Frenchie jeans. So go back and watch the beginning. This is going to be a quickie because I have a lot to do to get ready for Stitches West, including going to the printer today. I just want to, I guess, take one more minute and thank everybody for ordering the Frenchie jeans. If you had ordered them before today, it's already in the mail, but I got more orders, so I'm getting more patterns printed so I can get them out hopefully by the end of today. So thank you everybody who ordered a pattern. All right, so I'm just stitching along. Okay, let's see here. All right, so here's my start point right here. I'm just going to pass my start point like 2 or 3 stitches, then I'm just going to back up a couple stitches and call it a day. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is clip that thread. I'm going to clip this thread, and then just to sort of continue the my inseam seam through the hem, I am just going to stitch literally, and I think I'm going to do it starting this way here. I'm going to start up at the top of the ribbon, and I'm just doing this on the inseam. I'm just going to stitch through the ribbon down to the hem, the folded hem here, just to tack it in one spot. All right, so you can see just right there, I just had that, and that just holds the ribbon up in that one spot. But I don't think you have to do it in other spots here, but basically I'm just going to trim my threads. Okay. All right, so let's look and see our completed jeans, our hem here. I'm so excited. I wore these the other day and they were so comfortable. I did not put belt loops on this version, and I'll tell you what, that this yoke right here really acts as a tummy control panel, and you can see I only have 2 buttons unbuttoned because I can get them on without undoing the whole fly because I don't have a waist or a defined waist. So let's take a look at these hems here now. Oh, I'm so excited. Finished jeans, completely finished. That's a big deal for me because I don't have a lot of time to do a lot of sewing for myself, so every time I get something finished, it's like such an exciting event. Just gonna clip. All right, so these are my finished Frenchie jeans with my little Frenchie hems. Okay. So yeah, I really like the way those look. So that's my super fast technique for today. Today is the last day to get 25% off. If anybody was considering getting this Frenchie jean pattern, it is on sale through today, 25% off. If anybody is going to be in Sacramento next weekend, I'll be in Sacramento at Stitches West. If anybody's watching this and they are not subscribed to my newsletter, I'm going to start adding a link to my newsletter under my videos as well, because sometimes I do fitting tutorials in there. For example, I was so excited to get questions about doing a full bust adjustment on a princess seam dress pattern that also has a bust dart, because that was my Fit Tip Tuesday 2 weeks ago. So instead of doing it as a video, I did it as a quick newsletter tutorial. So if you want to check out my newsletters, most of them have a tutorial in there that's exclusive to the newsletter. Sign up for my newsletter and then you can get that. And if you're worried about getting inundated with newsletters from me, you do not have to worry about that. If anything, I don't even get them out once a month because some months I'm just too busy. So I did get one out in February, and Diane says, very unique, Jen, trendsetter. I will tell you, I got a comment from somebody about this jeans pattern that they were excited to make it for their granddaughter, because apparently these kind of jeans with all of these different seam detail is all the rage in high school. So I was super excited to hear that I'm I'm in style. And actually, to me, it's kind of funny because if you think about it, I have had these jeans on my list for 10 years. So the fact that I've had these jeans on my list for 10 years and they're trendy now, 10 years later after I made them, I think that's pretty funny. So, but I will tell you, they're very, very comfortable too. I am in love with the wide yoke because it really, am I flashing? Somebody asked me about why the lighting is flashing, and I can see it on the screen that the light is flashing, but I will tell you, my lights are not flashing. So if you're getting this sort of flashy light thing going on now, I'm really, really sorry, because I can see it. It's making me turn green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, depending on how it's flashing. Let me switch my camera view to see if it happens on my F3 too. Yeah, see, it's not happening on my F3. So I think my little Logitech is freaking out, so I apologize for that. So anyway, I am going to sign off. I want you to know that I'm going to do my best to shoot 2 Fit Tip Tuesday videos, one for this week and then one for next week, right when I get back, so I don't miss a Fit Tip Tuesday. But remember, there is going to be no FabFit Friday for 2 weeks in a row now because I'll be traveling and teaching, so I apologize for that. If anybody has any questions about this hem technique, please post them below and I will help you. If you have any questions about anything else, post those as well. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. If you were in this snowstorm, Kelly says, I'll have to go back and see what I missed. Yes, you are flashing hot flashes. Actually, yes, I do have hot flashes too. When I was setting up to start my FabFit Friday, I was having a hot flash. I've cooled off now, but I really think it's my Logitech it's an old camera, and I got a new camera, but remember I was having all those audio syncing problems where my mouth was moving faster or slower than the audio. It's because it was a big 4K camera, and I don't think my laptop can do the 4K. So I gave that one back to my husband, and I pulled out my old Logitech webcam. But I'm going to have to diagnose this flashing light problem. I apologize. But anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And, oh, Carol says, enjoy your classes. I just want to say something. Carol used to live in town with me, right in Manchester. And I drive by the house where she used to live pretty regularly. So Carol, I want you to know I think about you every time I drive by your house. So you're always in my thoughts. Okay, I'm going to sign off now. You guys have a great weekend, and I will see you again soon, one way or the other. Maybe I'll do a Facebook Live or something from California. We'll see. We'll see what I have time for. But anyway, have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. And remember, today's the last day to get the 25% off the Frenchie jean pattern. All right. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much for watching.